All right, let's jump into today's engine room chat. It's been a while. It's been a month since we spoke last time, and then the last time we spoke was right before the launch of season four, I believe. So it's been a while. A lot has happened. We've got a lot of questions.
Right.
So let's jump into it. For
Oh,
those of you that are here for the first time, the engine room chat is a special segment where we speak with Bear Like directly. We are conveying some of the hottest community questions to Bear Like and find out what exactly is going on behind the scenes and what can we expect in the near future. So with me here in the studio we have the legendary Mr. Bear Like himself.
yeah,
Before we jump like straight into season four, because I do have a lot of questions
yeah.
on season four, I had a few questions from new players that we might have answered in the past. So two very short questions. The first one is, could you briefly share what was the original inspiration and original story of the creation of Mechabellum?
Well, it's like I have always competitive strategy game. Those RTS games, I played them a lot when I was young. I don't really play them competitively. Once I discover internet, because once I discover internet, I found out like the to play RTS game competitively, you require you need like really high APN, and I don't really want my strategy game require a lot of APN. So I always have this idea like one day I will create this game that is a competitive strategy game, but it do not require a lot of APN and also have the nice epic spectacle that all the RTS games have. So at like 2016, I finally have a chance, and I talked to my friend, um, and I have this great idea because at the time I just like play a lot of Warcraft 3 custom maps and all the other games, tower defense games, and that's Clash Royale and Plants Plants uh, uh, against the zombies, all that stuff. And I roughly have an idea that how I can create a competitive strategy game without high APM requirement. And so my friend thinks my idea is great. So we uh, start to make the game in 2017, and like now it's 7 years since then, and we have Mechabellum here. Yeah.
Nice. And what other games did Game Driver create aside from Mechabellum?
Well, they create another game. We only have two games. Out of Hands, just we have just released Out of Hands. It's a card adventure game uh, this April. Uh, I think it's a nice game. It get lots of awards from all kind of events, and it's a more, it's more like a artistic personal project from one of our teammates, and basically two of my colleagues made that game, and everyone else helped whenever we can, and yeah, that's our second game. That's all. We only have two games.
Nice. I still need to check that out. I heard good things about it, so need to find time and check that out. All right. Well, thank you for giving us a bit of a background, but let's jump straight into season four. Season four
Yeah.
came with some big changes so far. Namely, we have some pretty significant buffs to certain units. So let's talk about those two. So specifically, we're talking about the Farseer and the War Factory. And of course, this morning I saw another patch that come in that adjusted the Farseer and the War Factory. Maybe Bear, like, give us the inside scoop. Maybe let's start with Farseer. How's Farseer doing since the beginning of season 4? What have you observed, and what has been driving these changes? I think we got 3 changes already in the last month just for Farseer. So how is that going?
So all the changes behind Farseer is because Farseer was originally a rare unit, meaning you cannot recruit that unit directly. You have to wait for the unit drop. But later we discovered that we need some anti-air units that have more HP than Mastodon. So basically have a higher HP Mastodon alternative. That's when we decided like we should make Farseer a core unit, not just a rare unit. So bringing Farseer into the core unit roster requires some changes to it, because as a rare unit, because you rely for a rare unit, because you need unit drop to get that unit, then you cannot really do too much preparations for that unit. But if it is a core unit, you can recruit it whenever you want. Then it became a part of the core strategy, and Farseer was too strong for that role. So for it to be a core unit, we need to nerf Farseer a little bit. But since we are always like try to rather have a unit like weaker than stronger, so we nerfed Farseer probably too much at the beginning of season 4, and so I think then we buffed Farseer, and so last patch we buffed Farseer, and we see that finally Farseer have a very good usage rate, and but the burst mode is too strong, especially like the burst mode. Like a lot of players are complaining about they do not know how to counter the burst mode tag, and we agree. We think that the burst mode needs a bigger disadvantage, so we nerf the burst mode. Right now, I think the Farseer actually at a better position. I wish we have achieved that last patch, but it's always a process, and I think this time we probably get it right. I hope so.
Aside from player feedback on unit balances, what other stats do you look at to make these decisions?
We mainly look at win rate and usage rate in different MMR bracket. So behind this Farseer change, one big thing is like in lower MMR range, Farseer actually have a much higher win rate. That's this actually is like reflected in the feedback we have from our players. Like basically, like if you are not that familiar with the game, Farseer seems like unstoppable. So Farseer is not as strong in higher MMR. It's still strong, but not as strong. But it is became a bigger problem in lower MMR range. That's why we have changed the burst mode very fast, because it's starting to affect a lot of players. Just to remember, like most of our player base is in the mid and lower MMR range, so we always like value their experience a lot. So that's why we changed Facilitator so quickly.
Nice. Now let's talk about War Factory. War Factory is a standard unit. It has, I remember over the years the War Factory has been up and has been down, right? But right now
Yeah.
it's on the way up, and mostly because of its two things really. One is the attack buff, and
Yeah.
the other thing is the high explosive technology. So can you talk about the current state of War Factory, specifically as I guess this is kind of a new War Factory meta. It's almost like a chaff clearing War Factory leading into production War Factory. How is the
Yeah.
War Factory doing? Is this in a comfortable spot right now?
So all the change behind War Factory, that's actually because we want to make every Titan's upkeep be 150. So originally they have a 200 upkeep, and it it feels like not that comfortable, the 200 only, although it's only like 50 supply difference, but we do feel like the 150 upkeep is better for all titans. So that's why we changed the upkeep of Facile and not Facile, upkeep of Mountain and Abyss and War Factory. And so by changing this, like if War Factory have less upkeep, it should be weaker. So we reduced War Factory's HP a lot. To compensate the HP nerf, we actually buff its tag and its attack, because we always feel that the War Factory that have a higher the battle War Factory is actually easier to balance than the production War Factory. So we want to move War Factory to the battle role rather than like at the back and just product stuff role. So that's why we nerf its HP and gave it more attack. And I think by doing so, we probably went too far and gave it too much attack, and also the HE ammo bar tag is too cheap. So that's why we changed nerfed the War Factory a little bit. Data-wise, like before this patch, War Factory win rate is not that high. It's like around 50%, on par with other units, but its usage rate is like really high. It's like on par with other like 400 supply giant. That's too high. Generally, like the cheaper a unit are, it should be used more. And for a Titan to have a 800 Titan to have the same use rate as the 400 giant, that's indication of this unit is too popular and too strong. So we that's why we nerfed it. Yeah, that's the story behind the War Factory.
Let's talk about another Titan, which is the Mountain. The Mountain has received a pretty significant changes at the beginning of the season as well. For example, they have dedicated range now. We made changes to the saturation fire, buff to other techs like the cannon missile and the smoke. How's the Mountain doing? I mean, on my screen, I just watched a game between Flower Fairy and another play with 4 mountains on the board. It seems pretty strong. So how does it look from your end, the Mountain?
Well, from our data is not very strong. But from my personal experience and the team's experience playing the unit on the ladder, we actually likes it a lot. Somehow the Mountain is very nice to play. It's very nice to like have a mountain when a mountain strategy works, it feels very good. But for now, it's not that strong. Maybe the player base haven't discovered the right strategy for that unit yet. We are slowly buffing the mountain, but as far as last patch go, mountain is not that strong data-wise. But maybe people will discover how to play it. I and my team played the unit a lot, and we lost a lot of MMR because of it. It's a fun unit, so we don't regret it. But I'm looking forward for to see how the top player play the unit in the future. Yeah.
Nice. I got a comment from the community that mentioned right now the Titan units are mostly being used as a gut shot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think basically the community, I understand this. The community feels like one round there's no Titan on the board. The next round there's a level 2 Abyss or Factory or Mountain on the board, and then I died. So basically,
exactly.
that's that feeling is not good, and but that's how very big unit goes. This is an inherent problem for this kind of super strong unit. But I do think all the Titan units gave the game a nice variety, and also as a last result, it do change the board significantly in later round, and those are the benefits. And I think it makes the game more exciting to anticipate the unit and all that stuff. We do see top player anticipating enemy titans and counter those titans. But I do think because in Mechabellum there is no build time, so the big units is always this surprise feeling for the big units. In traditional RTS, to build such a giant unit, you have to build some buildings, and that building gonna spend 5 minutes building this one unit,
And
all that stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta research something.
Yeah. You climb the tag tree, spend a lot of time building it, all that stuff. So your opponent can tell that you are going for this strategy. But for Mechabellum, because you are the unit is instantly recruit. That's what makes the unit a big surprise. And it's actually part of the charm, I think. It's in the later round, the board can change a lot, and if you can successfully anticipate your enemy's strategy, if you predict your enemy's strategy correctly, you can gain a big advantage. But I do think for us in some situations, this is feels unfair and all that stuff. Right now, I'm not sure how should I solve this. I do think maybe the upkeep mechanic is not that good in this situation, and maybe we should have some more requirement for players to build a Titan unit, all that stuff. But right now, I don't know. I don't want to introduce building times, all that stuff. So I think I hope we figure something out in the future. But right now, I don't really think it's a too big a problem because like it's all the Titan units only deals 500 HP damage, so it's not that much. And in the future, maybe we introduce some like actual life settings, like whenever you like you cannot be one shot. Basically, like you will have one actual round to come back all that stuff. I think that probably can like help a little bit, but right now I'm not sure because all of our effort is on the upcoming buildings. So the Titan problem, I think we should solve it in the future. Yeah.
To be determined. I think it's not so much of the power of the Titan. I think the power of the Titan justifies the cost. It is the unexpectedness of a Titan popping up at level 2 in one round, right? That's the problem. And often, if you are a decent player and your HP is under 1,000, you kind of prepare for that. Like I would preemptively put down some melting point if my HP is under 1,000, and I would expect a factory somewhere.
Yeah.
But often than not, like you said, as long as you have the money, you can get a Titan, and that seems it seems unexpected. A very simple way, without even changing the HP or anything, is to make the Titan give them a prerequisite unit unlock. So for example, in order to get the mountain, you need to unlock fortress. And then if people see you unlock fortress in the back of their head, they're like, okay, maybe he can play mountain, right? It is an extra cost if you don't play the fortress, for sure. But it makes people expect something like this happen. So that's maybe something to tease about. Just an idea.
Yeah, probably unlock is not enough because people don't really check what's the. Well, they probably can't
they'll start check, right? They'll start. Yeah, exactly. Because that's a part of the strategy dynamic that is there. The information is there, but people are not really using it to their advantage, right? So it could be another
but I think only the spectator can check what units your opponents have unlocked. You cannot say what your opponents have unlocked, I think. Right now,
I don't think so.
But
it could.
I mean, and we can add something like that.
Yeah, something to think about in the future, because that's like a whole nother layer of skill.
True. Basically introducing a tech tree into the game.
Like a very simple rudimentary tech tree. All right. Well, aside from the unit that we mentioned so far, what have you noticed that are currently strong or currently underutilized in the meta?
I'm not sure what unit is currently. Well, there are underutilized units. What currently is strong, I'm not really sure. What's underutilized, that's Rhino. Rhino is not getting a lot of views, and hacker, and hacker being rarely used is by design because people hate it. So it's okay. It's okay. That's not much people using hacker. But right now we do plan like in the future do something for Rhino. Maybe give it a different role in the game. And for the stronger unit, I don't really have an idea what is that strong, but there's 2 units we plan to do an overhaul that are potentially strong in certain situations. That is Typhoon and Farseer, and also Phantom Ray is like half. Like not, there's a little bit of problem with Phantom Ray in certain situation, but it's not that much. But Typhoon and Abyss, I think Typhoon and Abyss, I think they are people have problem figuring out what actually counters them, and so those two units probably gonna receive some tweak in the future. We are still discussing how should we change it. We see a lot of replays and stuff especially lower MMR range players struggling finding a good counter for Typhoon and for Abyss. So yeah, changes are coming for those two units.
Speaking of the Rhino, have you heard of the term the gospel?
No, what's it called?
The gospel. It's a fun little strategy that the 501 players do, where we do triple wasp on the flank and then Rhino with armor. It's really fun. It's super fun.
Yeah, I have played against that strategy. I do not know the name.
The gospel, yes. So next time when you see it, you can mention the name. Super fun.
Okay. What's the name means?
The gospel. It started from the original player called Cheese. So he started this group. He called it the Church of Rhino Wasp. So gospel is like a saying in the church. So that's why they call it the gospel. They're spreading in his word, we're spreading the good words of Rhino Wasp. I thought it's just a funny little community culture here. I absolutely love these.
Yeah, I have no idea there is this deep law behind this strategy.
Yeah, doesn't 201 have like these little terms?
Yeah, they have them too, like all kind of silly names, all that stuff.
yeah, it's kind of fun. I like it. I play it. It's just entertaining. You don't always win. I don't think my win rate with it is very high, but it's always fun when you see it working. And it's more effective against lower MMR players because they often just put down Mustangs to deal with the Wasps because that's what they're taught, right? Mustang is a Wasp counter. And then you have an armored Rhino in front of it, and then it becomes very problematic. So it's really fun to play.
Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned Typhoon is going to have some changes. Yeah. Is Typhoon going to be the next rare unit coming into the standard roster?
Yes. Nice. It is. It will. Yeah, we also want to change the look of it a little bit. It's not going to be the next. The next rare unit coming to the core roster is Fire Badger. After Fire Badger, then it's Typhoon. Yeah, Fire Badger will basically have already finished the redesign of it, and it will get a new model and 2 new tech, and yeah, it's kind of cool, I think. The Typhoon is the one we haven't figured it out. The Fire Badger is the one we figured out. The Typhoon is the one that's it's hard to figure out how to change it. Yeah.
Nice. One other thing aside from unit changes and meta and balance is the visual upgrade, especially like the tiny little details that happens in game. Like just this morning, I noticed that the health bar now has like this. I don't know, when a unit hit, the health doesn't immediately reduce. It has like this little flashy bar, and then it reduces. I noticed the fire on the Vulcan looks a little better. I noticed the game runs a lot smoother for me, anyways. So in the patch note, I think it was the last one you mentioned, there were various game engine upgrades, and a lot of times, as players, we only care about the strongest unit and the best meta, and we often overlook these little finer details. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what are some internal upgrades that the team has been making to make this game feel better and look better.
Yeah, so basically it's because One is like the game actually enter a more stable stage. We are not adding that many units into the game anymore. Like we still are gonna add some units to the game, but not as fast as before. So now we have more time to tweak all the units and optimize the performance and optimize the visuals, all that stuff. And also we got two new team members. One is an in-house tester who also responsible for collecting feedbacks and all that stuff. It has been really helpful. And also we got a new project manager who also collecting feedbacks on Discord and all that stuff. So now since we have people dedicated on those kind of stuff, not dedicated, but they have more time. They have more time to spend on collecting feedbacks and all that stuff. So we have a clear vision of what the community needs, and also we can plan better, and our engineers now have more time to do quality of life stuff. So we do think Mechabellum is not as good a place as it can be. So I think we can still make the game better. There's a lot of little changes and some big changes we need to make. And so, but I do like this stage. Like at this stage, we are not in a rush anymore. We just like fine tuning the stuff. It's fun. It's fun.
I like the stage too, and I thank you for constantly making updates to the experience, not just the meta, but to the experience. I think I speak for many of our players that we really appreciate that. Now, speaking of pressure, I know there is a unreleased part of the game that you've been working very hard on
Yeah.
for 2 months now. That we talked about this more than 2 months. I think you mentioned it about
Yeah.
3 episodes ago. That is the buildings, and
Yeah.
how's that coming?
Well, the buildings are in our test. The buildings are fun. It actually changed the game a lot. It makes the game, but it do make the game more complicated, which is something I kind of worried about. Like the new player already feels the game is very complicated, but because our team plays the game too much. It's like in our mind we already like get tired of, like not get tired of, like we always welcome the new stuff because we already know the old stuff. So the new stuff not gonna give us too much mental burden. But I would imagine for a new player just getting into Mechabellum, there's 30 plus new units and there's buildings.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's a little
that's
overwhelming.
probably
Yes.
yes. That is something I hope we can solve in the future. But for now, I think for now next patch, we will introduce in August. Just like I think in 3 weeks we're gonna introduce the buildings.
Wow.
And
that's
it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of new stuff to learn. It's gonna change your strategy because the buildings are there at round 1 on the map. So the buildings you're gonna have to play around the building in the earlier round, so it will change your strategy a lot. You cannot rely on a certain fixed strategy. Animal, like you always want this start, then because the building layout changes, you have to adapt to the building layout, and there's walls, there's cannons, there's machine guns, all that stuff. You have to learn the different buildings and how to utilize them. So it's gonna be a learning experience for a lot of players. And for us, I do feel it's like really fun for all the players. And right now, the one problem of it is it actually changed the unit balance situation. And so because of the building, we need to rebalance units again. So that's the one big problem for us. We need to rebalance some units because of all the buildings. But in the long run, I think it's a good thing because like in the past, we can only like adjust starting packs player HP modifier. Like we can only change the starting pack's HP to adjust its strength. Now we actually can balance the game by tweak the building layouts. Like certain units will became better because of the buildings. For example, Fan and Mustang was like a little bit too weak in the starting pack, and so we. But with the buildings, they can become a little bit stronger. So we now have a new tool to balance the starting pack. So overall, it's a good thing, but well, I don't think a new player actually listen to this podcast, so I guess it's okay.
It's
but for
mostly,
new players, just
it's
watch.
mostly experienced players here that pay attention.
Yeah. So for whoever listening to the podcast, it's a lot of fun. There's new toys for you to play with, and for the new players who are not listening to this, you got a lot. The game became more complicated, and I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna try to improve the experience for you guys in future patches. Just not this patch.
I mean, you can always lean on the community creators. I mean, shout out to Rooster. He's been working hard here, putting down a lot of great tutorial contents over the last 2 months. And like these
Yeah.
and it's hard to make a permanent tutorial because there's always changes in the meta, and I feel like even a unit guide after 4 months probably needs to be revisited because of the patch changes. So I think the community creators are doing a lot of work trying to get the new players up to speed, right? Discord,
Yeah, and they are like really helpful.
yeah, and Discord, I see just the main Mechabellum Discord is always 5 to 10 players in the voice chat every night and trying to figure this thing out. It's good. I think the community is still very strong and welcoming for the new players. So buildings, exciting. About 3 weeks. That's you're really looking forward to this, and that's spoken from an old player point of view because I also am very excited to see what's new with that. I got a few questions about the operations of Game River that the community is interested in, and then I have a few more wish list items from the community that maybe I can pass them on to you. So, question about operations with Game River. Earlier, you mentioned, first of all, congratulations. I know you've been looking for to fill those positions for a while, so congratulations for getting the community manager and also QA in here. One question. Right now, the team is growing, so I remember earlier it's just a bunch of guys in the office, but now it's really coming together. Um, as the leader of the company, Bear how do you keep the morale and creativity high in such nimble team?
Well, actually, I don't know. I like we do have a high morale and have a highly creative team. I don't really cultivate the creativity of our like developers or the developers. They are like already they are a very creative bunch of people. That's why we have out of hands because like the Mechabellum making Mechabellum is like a very long journey. So sometimes you need some small projects for the creative people to have their creative uh, stuff be done, all that stuff. And generally, we are like I'm not doing it purposely, but by nature, I'm now more leaning to like do something that's not very traditional. So I'm always leaning to solution that is out of the box, and we do have a very like everybody pitching in design process, like basically whatever, no matter you are new or old, whatever you do inside of the company, you can always pitch in your ideas. Like the engineer can talk about the art, the artist can talk about the gameplay, the designer can like have their idea be discussed by everybody, all that stuff. So everybody is talking about everything in the game. So we will have a very yeah. The process is I like the process, and I have been in this industry for a long time, and this team is the best team I ever had. So I really appreciate everybody here, and I hope we can like keep the morale high in the future and keep everybody stay creative in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your teammate has a idea, maybe to start a new game or small game, I guess your response would be to go for it.
Yeah, and also like we don't like some of our developers actually have their personal project. So we do like it's if it fits the company's strategy, then we may make it a company project, just like out of hands. And sometimes the personal project is not do not fit the company strategy, but we still helps helps for when like even if it's just a personal project, all the everybody still helps a little bit, like giving advice and all that stuff, and testing their personal project and all that stuff. Like lots of our teammates try to make some personal project, and some of my team actually are actively working on like mode projects for like old RTS games, like Rhino 3. There's a lot of like 3 or 4 people on my team actually working on modes that of Red Alert 3 and all that stuff. So I don't really like it. It's a company that we're like you do have your personal time to do whatever side project you want, and for the company's future project, we are it's too early to tell, but we are doing earlier research on a new project right now. But it's at a super early stage. There's nothing to show there, but we are working on something new. Yeah.
Nice. It sounds like a very creative environment, and there's a lot of mechanisms to encourage just self-driven creativity. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Basically, Mechabellum is the one project that at the center of everything. So everybody working on Mechabellum, but there's always side projects and new adventures. So that stuff that requires much less people working on it. But the Mechabellum is the one game that we spend most of our resource on. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, let's jump into some wishlist items. First, I guess I have this cluster of like item because I have multiple people asking about skins. Because we talk about skins in the past, people are just very excited for it. The community seems to love the pink paws hound skin for season 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a few questions. The first question is actually the earlier, like last, not, I guess what 2 episodes ago, you mentioned when your team are working on the skins, they're working on cosmetic, just like the color changes, but sometimes they're also going a little deeper, maybe changing more than just the color. Maybe they're adding some visual elements. Just checking, is that still happening? And if there's a date, because last time I think you were talking about how the entire team is focusing on buildings, and I wonder if that's
Yeah.
still the case right now.
Yeah, we have people working on skins right now, and there's a bunch of skins we have already finished the making, and we don't really just want to release skins. We want skins that players can play with. Like, if you got this skin, you can unlock stuff for this skin, not just a simple skin. You can unlock all kind of other cosmetic stuff for this skin. So in a sense, it's a skin pass. You can, so it's a skin you can play with and unlock stuff for. Right now we are aiming for Christmas release for this kind of skins. Like we are making several of those kind of skins. I think they looks very cool and have some cool unlocks. And I'm actually, that is one thing I'm pretty excited for. Other than the buildings. So for the basically the buildings and the skin pass, those are the two big things for us for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Nice. Another thing that I've noticed that's kind of sneakily added into the game is that if you go under tournaments, we have regular tournaments, and now we have a community tournament tab. Right now, there's nothing in it, but it is good news because it's a signal to something more. Can you tell us what that something more looks like?
Yeah, the community tournaments, that actually is something that we already finished the function for that feature, and we just need to, like, at a certain point, like, we need to have everybody register their tournament, so their turns can show up in the game. I think probably next week I will have like something announced on the Discord server, so everybody can, not everybody, but all the tournament organizers can will know who should they talk to and what kind of art assets they should be providing to have their tournament show up on the community tournament page. So then players will be able to say what cool community tournament is going on and click on the link to sign up for all the community tournaments. That's yeah, that's something that already in the game. We just haven't have the like contact all the tournament organizer to upload their stuff yet. But I think next week probably is a good time for it to happen. Yeah.
Nice. That's an unexpected surprise. I wasn't expecting to
Yeah.
hear this coming so soon because I've been waiting for this for a very long time. And I know
Yeah.
there's a couple tournament organizers are itching to do something in the fall, so this could be a huge addition to the community. Because one thing that's fun about community tournament that is unlike the major tournament is you can sometimes cater to a very specific group, right? Sometimes if you just are beginners, we can do beginners. If you just want to do free for all, we can do free for all. So this is very welcome change indeed.
Yeah.
Speaking of tournament, maybe let's move on to maybe adjacent to tournament, specifically on the spectator features for 2v2 and free for all. So right now, 2v2 and free for all tournaments are difficult to host because the casters are having a more difficult time to properly convey what's happening on the board. So unlike 1v1, when their card drop, you get to see all the options. When their unit drop, you get to see all the options. Would there be an opportunity to maybe do a quick update on 2v2 and free for all so that when cards and units drop as a spectator, you can actually see what all the options are?
Yeah, we should do it. Like people have been asking for this for a long time, but it's just not very high priority for us. Once we have the buildings out, we will begin to working on all this quality of life stuff. Well, but sometimes I always come up with some ideas that we need to do first. But this time I hope the buildings is the final one big idea, and that's it. Then we can put more of our efforts on the quality of life stuff. I think this time probably after the buildings, like we can do more stuff for the spectators, for the tournament organizers, all that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be out in just 3 weeks. So after that, we're probably gonna spend some time to tweak it, balance it, and after everything settled down, we definitely want to make the spectator UI better. Yeah, there's the spectator UI is not that good, so we definitely want to improve it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I got one last question. This question comes up once every so often. So in the community, sometimes people have the idea, what if we want to have more data for our gameplay, right? So people wants to know the end of the round, statistics. Maybe they want to know more meta statistics. What are your thoughts on these items? So giving users more numbers to look at.
Yeah, that's definitely something we want to do. For other like auto battlers, you have like damage meters for every unit and all that stuff in real time. And at the end of the battle, you have some screen where you can check what unit did what, all that stuff. We definitely want to do that. And yeah, it will. Yeah, we will have that, but maybe not that soon. I would like make the undo button as an example. Like the undo button, we always want to make it, but it takes us a long time to make it because there's a lot of stuff that we need to do first. But luckily, there's not that much stuff we need to do first anymore, so we can moving on to this kind of stuff. All the suggestions, I think they are good suggestions, and we definitely want to do it in the future.
Nice. All right. Well, that is all the questions I have for you today, Bear. Like, I think you've answered plenty about the current meta and also what's to come in the next couple of weeks. Very much looking forward to the tournament future. Very much looking forward to the new buildings in about 3 weeks. Is there anything else you want to add before we jump off here?
Well, actually, no. I think I have had a good conversation here. I said everything I want to say, and just I'm looking forward for the building update, and I hope you guys are ready for it.
Nice. It will be chaos, as it always has been with new patches, but I'm sure the community will adapt. So with that, thank you all for chiming in for today's episode of the Engine Room Chat. And as usual, the summary of this episode will be posted on the Reddit in a few days, as well as a full recording on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, Bearlike, and thank you all for coming. And we'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.